All right, we are live. All right, hello everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about one of the most controversial lines in the final chapter. Now, as all of you may have known, hello for just popped in the stream. Hello, how are you? Anyway, as all of you may have known, um, the last chapter was incredibly rushed and not done as well as anyone would have liked it to have been done. And that left a lot of things that were pretty sloppy. Now, one of the things that gets a lot of flack, now usually when we're talking about 139, usually a lot of the stuff gets flack for good reason. But this particular line, and I think you guys all know what the line I'm talking about, is thank you for becoming a mass murderer for our sake. I swear I won't let this terrible mistake go in vain. That was Armin's line to Eren when he started the rumbling. And the last chapter after he started the rumbling, right? And this line gets a lot of criticism. People saying it's a terrible line, it's awful. They changed it in A&R. Again, I keep using A&R not because A&R is like the de facto bad guy. They are pretty terrible, and everything they stand for and everything they do is terrible. I use A&R because I find myself asking a question: well, what did you want? How did you want X thing to play out? You know, I would ask myself, what did they want to happen? And A&R is the most popular theory about this. When I say, okay, you didn't want Mikasa to love King Fritz, like I talked about in the last video. What did you want to happen? I can pick on A&R very easily because A&R is like, well, we wanted this to happen. We wanted her to love her kids instead, which I explained in the last video how that's stupid because, I mean, long story short, it went parallel Mikasa. And it would have created a plot hole because Mikasa killing Eren wouldn't have made the Titans go away from the Earth, and there would have been 3 royal families instead of just 1 royal family. So I explained how that was complete and utter bogus and how the story was planned out from the start and how he didn't just pull that out of nowhere. So, yeah. But now, with this video, I get to say, okay, you don't want me to say you want me to become a mass murderer for our sake. I swear I won't let this terrible mistake you're making go in vain. They want him again to this giant intellectual moral battle with Eren, where they had him like the freaking Pharaoh from Yu-Gi-Oh going like, look ahead. It's like the Chad Eren. You know what I'm talking about, right? Where he's like, you probably don't know what I'm talking about, even if you did read A&R. It's just this incredibly cringy scene where he's like looking up on the top and he's like pointing like he's the Pharaoh from Yu-Gi-Oh. It's the most cringe. I watch a lot of Joe Biden speeches, and that has got to be one of the cringiest things I've ever seen in my entire life. All right. But I'm going to explain to you how actually that line is not even bad. How it's not even rushed. I mean, it's not bad. Certainly not bad, and it's not even bad in the context that it's in. Although the conversation as a whole was rushed, so it's hard to say that one piece of the conversation wasn't rushed. Because the entire thing was really rushed and really fast. It wasn't like like I described in my first video, which actually probably got deleted. Actually, it's probably the video that got deleted. But it's a long, slow drive to the airport. Right? You're taking the time. You're going to the scenic route. You're taking the sweet time. You're there to just enjoy yourself. Right? If you're gonna watch the episode, right, or if we're going to read the book, actually, no, I'll actually give you a good example for this. A lot of people, Japanese people, they read their books in the train station. They read their books in the train station, right? So they're going from home to work, or they're coming from home to work, or they'll definitely be able to read coming from home to work. But they're going someplace, and they're in that filler of time, they're reading their manga, right? Which is perfectly fine. It's just when I read the last chapter, I made sure to make sure everything was taken care of. All my schedule was completely cleared. I went to the woods and I completely turned off my phone. Right? So I was like, I'm just here to read Attack on Titan. I'm here to soak it in. It's going to be a long ride. I'll be here however long it takes. I was out there for like 3 hours. I read 5 chapters, but I was at 1.5 hours actually. I was only reading 5 chapters, and I really cleared out a space of time. I did not read this in between something. I made sure I'm reading this. I'm only reading this. Reading 139 is something that you can actually read on your way to work. It's very sad to say because it was very rushed. So the entire conversation is rushed. So it's hard to say that one piece of it wasn't bad because pretty much the entire thing was bad. as far as an execution point goes, sorts. But I would say that this line in this context, anywhere in 139, fits actually pretty good. And here's why I say it's pretty good. I used to have the perfect answer. I'm actually going to go move that section later. Again, sorry guys, I don't do scripts. I ad-lib this entire thing, but it's going to get a little tough. Maybe I should write scripts, or maybe I should have like pointers. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. We're talking about what he said. So what he said was completely, not only justified and reasonable, but beautiful, and it was emotional. It was good. It was good on all fronts. And again, I'm going to be picking on A&R in this video because A&R shows the alternative. Instead of me asking you, well, what did you want? I could say, well, this alternative is dumb and stupid. All right, let's begin. So Eren, I'm going to tell you the story. Eren he sees the basement, and he sees that his people are being persecuted, and they're suffering, and all this stuff. And he realizes Titans, he actually feels bad for Titans. He realizes that Titans are just humans like him who've been sent to. And then he goes to Marley, sleeps under their roof, eats their food, hangs out with them. He sees that they're not that bad. But he kisses Historia's hand prior to this. And he knows what's going to happen. He knows he has to distance himself from his friends. So for the entirety of that time, from when he's in Marley, when he's with the Titans at the ocean, when he's in the ocean, he's distancing himself from his friends. He's not with his friends anymore. And he knows he's going to do this terrible thing. And he's going through, then he goes to Marley, he sees the people again, he sleeps with and eats with them. He sees these people, and he's just so sad because he's going to kill them later. And this is, I think the anime watchers understand this because they were playing in the scene where he goes to the spoilers for season 4 part 2, and it's also spoilers for about, I think it's 130, volume 30, I think is what it is. If you're reading the manga, again, I implore you, if you've not watched or read this, I implore you, please click off this video. Never visit this channel again until you have seen or read the entirety of the story. It is totally worth it, I promise you. I don't know why you even click on this thumbnail, but if you did, please leave the video. But anyway, going back to it, this will be spoilers for season 4 part 2, and it's also spoilers for, I think, volume 30. That's a fair shot. Anyway, so he goes to refugee camp, and he is, he gets drunk. He gets drunk and he starts to nap on there. They play games in this tent with one of the guys. This is right after he asks Mikasa what I am to you. And it's sad. It's really sad because he says, right on time, when the guy comes and asks if they want to join him in a tent, because he knows he's already seen all this. And that is the last happy moment he had with everybody. And it wasn't even happy. Honestly, his last happy moment was probably who knows when it was, because every moment after he kissed Historia's hand was always clouded by the separation, the distance, and the guilt of having to go through with rumbling. So he's suffering for 4 years immensely, and then he has to kill these people, and he has to sacrifice his own life. So he is going through immense suffering, and this is why I made this giant spiel about it. Then Armin finally understands why. He understands everything. He understands why he was so distant from Mikasa, why he changed, why he was distant towards them, how he felt the entire time, and he realizes, man, this is all for me. This is all for us. Eren did this entire thing with no self-interest whatsoever. He's put himself under immense, not only sacrificing his life, which is usually considered a very great sacrifice, not only sacrificing his life, but put himself under immense pain for 4 long years, and then of course having the pain of having to kill innocent people. Also, incredible suffering that he had to undergo. And Armin realizes this, and he realizes that this is a completely sacrificial move, because he was thinking, this is for Eldia, this is for him, this is for everyone else. right? But he realizes this is actually just for me, Mikasa, and a select few of close friends, but mostly for me and Mikasa. And that's when he says, "Thank you. I won't just let this mistake go in vain." He says thank you because here's the first thing. There's a lot of reasons why this is a good line, but this is the first thing I want to attack is he says thank you, right? He's able to say thank you because Eren deserved to be thanked. Because no matter how you look at it, no matter whether you're a Jaegers or you're completely anti-rumbling or you hate Eren's guts or you think his character got assassinated or retconned or whatever crazy idea you have, a fact that cannot be denied is that he made a sacrifice. It can't be denied. It cannot be denied. He made a sacrifice. And actually, I'm actually going to change the title of this video because actually, the original title, if you're watching this, is Armin's Crazy Line Explained. I'm actually going to do a video about that line and quote unquote Simp Eren. So maybe it'll be Crazy Lines 139 Explained. Or maybe it'll just be 139 Conversation Explained. Anyway, let's continue. So he realizes this, and then no matter what opinion you have about Eren, it is undeniable that on the just a surface level, he sacrificed his life for them. He sacrificed his life for them. You understand what I'm saying? He made it so that everyone did not have to deal with the curse of Ymir except for him because he died. All right, and again, actually, there is a crazy idea that you can have that makes it so that Eren is not sacrificing anything. It's the idea that Eren was somehow manipulated by Ymir. Ymir manipulated and toyed with him to bring about this result, which is, for lack of a better word, no, like I said, I'm not going to curse on this channel, but it's ridiculous. And here's what's ridiculous, because he's always had the goal of saving his friends. That's always been his goal. He's always wanted to do that. He always wanted to protect his friends. And on top of that, again, at the train, he said, "I want to make sure you guys live all long, happy lives." That wasn't him speaking out of him being manipulated. And again, in the anime, he's shown to have green eyes. And I don't need to explain to you how significant that is that he has green eyes. When he's making his speech, he has green eyes. And when he crushes the global allied fleet, he has green eyes. I've said this a bunch of times, but I just want to say, just in case this is your first time watching this video, he's not being manipulated by Ymir. There's no evidence of that. It's evidence to the contrary. There's absolutely no way he's been being manipulated by Ymir whatsoever. In fact, let's go towards more evidence. In fact, the songs, right? Child of Evil in the first ending. I'm actually gonna look to see what the first ending was. SNK first. Hold on, what was the first ending? It was called Beautiful Cruel World. Okay, that's what's called. So Beautiful Cruel World and Child of Evil also prove this even further, which is again why I really love the anime. The anime really enhances it. But anyway, so Beautiful Cruel World says, what am I doing if what am I sacrificing, or what am I protecting in this life anymore? Something along those lines. And then Eren says, "I will sacrifice anything to protect you." And that line gives me chills every single time, because he not only sacrificed the world, sacrificed his freedom, sacrificed himself. It's a wild line. But anyway, are you gonna tell me that Child of Evil, he's also being manipulated by Ymir? No, he's not. He will sacrifice anything to protect you. He says, yeah, he loves it. He says, even the world is cruel, but I still love you. Is that him being manipulated by Ymir too? Is him saying, I can if I had wings like birds, I could fly anywhere, but if I had no place to return to, I'm not sure I can go anywhere? Is that him being manipulated by Ymir too? Or is he speaking out of genuine love for Mikasa and his friends? But anyway, so again, he's making a sacrifice. So he, at the bare minimum, deserves to be thanked. He does. He really does. Because he did make a sacrifice with no selfish intentions whatsoever, no self-serving intent or action at all. So baseline, just as number one, he does deserve a thank you, or a thank you is valid, right? Or you know what, if you want to stoop down to the lowest level, really hate Eren's guts, or you really hate Isayama's guts, you really don't like this chapter, at least it is reasonable that Armin should thank him after hearing this wild story, right? Number two, right? Thank you for coming, Master for our sake. right? People are angry because he is thanking Eren's he's sanctioning Eren's murder, which is stupid. That's dumb. He's not sanctioning Eren's murder. Um, Shown by the next line saying, "I won't let this mistake go in vain." He called it a mistake. He said it was a bad idea to kill these people. So he's not saying that murder was good. He's not saying that. But this is the thing with you people who don't like 139. You people don't understand this thing called nuance at all. You guys don't understand what nuance is. You're like, oh, because it has a scar, she's not free of Eren. Imagine when if Jean and Mikasa are date and she calls on Eren's name. You guys know what I'm talking about. You guys know the meme I'm talking about. I'm not gonna say on this channel because it's vulgar, but you guys know what meme I'm talking about. Eren, she's still stuck on Eren. No, it's nuance. She's able to have affectionate feelings towards someone, but still be to still love and marry someone else and have a successful relationship. That's able to happen, and Armin is able to say, thank you for this, and not condone or sanction murder. What is wrong with you people? But anyway, he's not saying that the murder was a good idea. He's saying he's expressing his gratitude for Eren's actions, and he's not. Again, he says it's a mistake, and then he says, "I'm not going to let this mistake go in vain, because at least if we're going to mess up something, I'm going to make the better of it." Right? It's like we're watching the semi-conference finals. I think is what it's called in basketball. Right? If someone goes up for a shot and they miss the shot, that's a mistake. But you know what the teammates do? They come back and they get the rebound. Or maybe it's an alley-oop and they come back and they put it back in. Right? That's turning a bad thing into a good thing. How stupid would it be if they was like, oh well, you made a mistake. I'm just gonna sit here and do nothing. No, he's saying you made this mistake. You already did what you did. You already killed these people. I'm not going to let this go in vain. I'm not going to let your sacrifice go in vain. I'm going to make the best of a bad situation. And funny enough, lo and behold, he did. He did not let the mistake go in vain. And everyone lived a very long, happy, prosperous life. I said this. I'm going to briefly touch on this, but I said this in the video that got deleted. Not the Ymir video. I got had multiple videos deleted, but in one of the videos that got deleted, I was saying, listen, guys, people do not usually a newly independent nation does not usually receive this much economic freedom. They don't. I mentioned the embargo that Thomas Jefferson had on the British, which was a complete disaster because again, this small independent country embargoed a superpower that obviously did not turn out well for America. But here's the thing: Parity got to keep their oil because you see them using cars. They got to keep their oil. Completely unheard of. They would have never happened without the rumbling. But anyway, they all lived long, happy lives, and he made the best of a bad situation. He did. Okay. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about, since I already talked about the mass murder. No, actually, no. Sorry, because I was going to move on to Simp Eren. Simp Eren's going to come after. I have another point to make. The third point. This is a good line. And actually, this is going to be 4 points. The fourth one's attacking A&R. The next one is he has been fighting Eren all this time. They split in Marley, which I do believe he's been rogue for years. I do believe that. Maybe I got the timeline wrong, but if I remember correctly, he's been rogue for years. After he went to that conference, he split, and he was not seen. It was 4 years, because they were sending the ships, and then they got caught. And the next time they saw him, he was in Liberio killing people. So, he's been fighting Eren for years. He's been saddened and disappointed. He's seen him kill children. He's seen him be vicious and cruel to Mikasa. Which, if you've heard this line, right? The kids are here have heard this line before when their parents punish them. This hurts me more than it hurts you, and believe me, what Eren was saying hurt Eren more than it hurt Mikasa. Believe me. But anyway, he's striving with him. He's trying to get beat up by him. He calls Mikasa a slave. He says he hates her. right? He's killing people. Isn't like he's striving with him the entire time, and he knows. Again, put yourself in his shoes. This is his childhood friend. This is the guy that they wanted to go see the ocean together with, and even that sacred, precious dream, which should have been a beautiful memory, was tarnished by his burden, by kissing Historia's hand, by the sacrifice he's made for him and Mikasa, and a select few of friends, but mostly him and Mikasa. And he's with him, his childhood friend, and he's striving with him tridently over this period of time. And he has the last conversation with him, the very last conversation with him that he's ever going to have. He's not going to say, "You filthy murderer, what is wrong with you? You didn't need to kill people to accomplish your goal. How dare you? You shouldn't have done this, blah, 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 blah." You know what he's going to say to him? He's going to drop all that and he's going to say, "You know what? Thank you for doing this for us. I see that you've been putting yourself through a very difficult time over years for our sake. Thank you. I'm not going to get into an argument with you about it. You know why he's not going to get into an argument about him? Because prior, when they're on the airship, he said exactly what he's going to do. He said, "You have the freedom to take away the world's freedom, and I have the freedom. You have the freedom to take away my freedom. No, I have the freedom to take away the world's freedom, and you the freedom to preserve the world's freedom. You're free." It was over at that point. It was done. I think that was Sinners. He said that in 133. It's over after that. There's and again, Armin's a smart guy. He's smart. He's also wise. He knows human nature. He knows there's no debating, there's no questioning, there's no arguing. Nothing he says is going to change Eren's mind. That's the other thing. And again, I'm gonna absolutely rip into ANR. So for those of you who don't like ANR, the evisceration is coming. He's not going to want to argue with him. He's not going to debate with him and have a moral discussion. He's going to be like, "This is my last conversation I get to have with my childhood friend. I've already said my point so many times, and I've already have blood on my hands." That's the other thing. Actually, I might do the I'm going to defend my girl Annie after this. That's what I'm doing next. That's my next video. But anyway, he is talking about he's striving with him this entire time. He has blood on his own hands, and he sees what his friend is doing for me. See how much pain he's going through. This is his last conversation before they are going to kill each other and before he dies and leaves the earth forever. And he says, "Thank you for becoming a mass murderer for our sake. I won't let this terrible mistake win in vain." If you had if your mom was dying of cancer, right, on her deathbed, right, and you loved her, she loved you, you loved her, you guys both had a mutual understanding that you guys loved each other. She did a lot of good things for you, but let's say prior she voted Republican and you were a Democrat, and let's say that you actually thought that Trump is literally Hitler. You're of the persuasion that Trump is literally Hitler. Your hair is pink. You have an earring. You're part of the LGBTQ community, right? Your little profile pictures. Actually, that's not a leftist thing, but your profile picture is a Ukrainian flag, and your mom voted Republican for literally Hitler. Are you going to say, "You know what? Trump said this racist thing, and this thing happened, and you know what time mag is?" No. You're going to relish good times together. Now, I know that is not as serious as killing, approximately 800 million people. I know it's not as serious, but first off, being a Nazi is a pretty big thing to be. Being a Nazi is pretty terrible. And the other thing is, I'm just trying to draw a correlation. I'm trying to make a realistic example for you guys just to understand. Because this is something that happens a lot, where you have young people and the parents vote a way that they don't like them voting. So I'm just trying to make a relatable example. Obviously, I'm not saying that voting for the Teflon Don is as bad as killing 800 million people, but I'm saying even if you thought your mom was dead wrong in voting for a racist, destructive person to the United States, and it was a horrible, misogynist, sexist monster. Sorry, not a horrible, transphobic, Islamophobic monster. You wouldn't have that conversation with your mom as she's going to die. Much less if you knew the reason that she's dying is because of you. Not because of you, but for you. Right? So think about that. Now, as I have just constructed my 3 points, I am now going to move to ANR. A&R, by the way, I'm gonna say this in every single video because I feel so strongly about it. And I feel like that everyone should know. A&R is the most disrespectful piece of crap I've ever seen in my entire life. Yeah, I said it. I said what most people are too weak to say. They say, "Oh, fan fictions are fine. You're allowed to write your own stuff." You are. You are allowed to write your own stuff, and I put just like I've read some cringy fan fiction. That's not a problem. What the problem is when you think that you have the intellect, the foresight, and the wisdom to write something better than Isayama. How disrespectful and disgusting would it be for someone to rewrite the ending of A Prince and a Pauper, for example? How disgusting and filthy. What about Animal Farm? How disgusting and grotesque and absolutely disrespectful would it be for someone to think that they're better than George Orwell or Mark Twain and rewrite their endings? What is wrong with these people? To think that they're better than this man, and to think that his ending needs to get changed and to turn it into an absolute. I, Again, I probably need to expand my vocabulary. I don't have the words to describe without swearing how disgusting the A&R is. Not only did they think that they're better than Isayama and wiser than Isayama and had the vision Isayama had, but they made their alternative was so disgusting and so plot holy and grotesque in every possible facet, including the art. The art, Isayama's art is nothing to shake a stick at, but did I use that term wrong? But that is even the art is bad. Instagram's art isn't even that impressive. It was disgusting and grotesque on all fronts. But anyway, I just want to say that because I have just said what most people are not strong enough to say. A&R is trash. It's garbage. It should not be tolerated. It should not be celebrated. It should not be accepted. No one should give money to these people. Nothing. And that A&R needs to die. But okay, anyway, I got that out of the way. Let's actually move into me ripping into A&R because A&R is the most. I'm rambling now. I gotta keep this video concise. Okay, so in A&R's version of this conversation, instead of Armin just saying, you know what, this is my last conversation. I know that I can change his mind. I've already talked to him about this. He's already told us about this. He's also seen the future. There's that too. I am going to have this moral discussion with him, which sub point number one. This is point 4, sub point number 1. That makes Armin an idiot, which is why A&R is full of idiots, because that makes Armin an absolute idiot. Armin, again, as I said, is more intelligent than that, more wise and more intelligent than that. You are insulting Armin's intelligence, and they're creating plot holes, lowercase p plot holes, but plot holes nonetheless. When you're calling, saying that he would have had that disgusting answer, because it's a disgusting answer. So he gets into this moral argument with him. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna stand by my morals, and you're gonna stand by yours, and we're gonna have this discussion, and we're gonna talk this out." Ridiculous. This shows that Armin, and again, this makes Armin an absolute cold, unfeeling piece of trash. Because only a cold, unfeeling piece of trash would look to someone who's seen the future, made up their mind, told you they made up their mind, and is in a state of emotional distress, obviously in this conversation and in prior conversations, and with retrospective, knowing that he put himself through much pain. Only a psychopath, cold piece of trash would say something as insensitive and unfeeling as that. Again, not that Armin's wrong for saying for articulating his moral point. He may be wrong for saying, "Well, listen, Trump said this about Muslim people, and Trump said this about Hispanics, and Trump did this thing for abortion." So it'd be one thing. You'd be fine for you to say that as your mother is slipping away and dying. That's completely fine. Let's change the analogy. Let's say your mother stepped in front of a tractor trailer and got blasted, and now she's dying because she tried to save you. No, it's fine for you to say that. If she voted for Trump the day prior, it's totally fine. It's not morally wrong. It's just completely insensitive, and it's terrible. It's a terrible thing to do, and you obviously don't love the person. You're obviously an unfeeling piece of crap to your own mother. Of course you are. I'm not saying Armin's wrong for doing that. I'm saying he's an unfeeling, unloving piece of crap. So for Armin to do this, he'd be not he'd be not just as bad as you saying that to your mother. He'd be worse because your mother just stepped in front of a tractor trailer and died. She didn't go through 4 years of pain and suffering. She didn't. So you saying that to your mother is worse than what Armin would do. So this makes Armin, so far this makes Armin a unintelligent, unwise, unfeeling, insensitive piece of human trash, which again Armin is not. And then he starts using his last conversation to debate with him about morals and is very flimsy. I get a lot of people hate Armin. Well, half of the fandom hates Armin. Again, he uses. I'm not going to get into his arguments, but they are. He chooses to waste his last conversation with him arguing about this, and then Eren's like, "Oh, again, now I'm moving to Eren's side of the now I'm sorry. Now moving to Eren's side of this, Eren's perspective of this. Our Eren's this mega giga Chad guy. It's like, oh, nothing can touch me. I'm so powerful and emotionless, and I'm gonna show you the way, young Eren, and all this other trash. As another problem I have with ANR. Not only did they make Armin an insensitive, in emotional piece of trash, they also make Eren this obnoxious wimp. Again, we are talking about Simp Eren in this video, and or maybe I'll cut it and make this 2 videos. But when Isayama wrote Simp Eren, he said Eren is back. Eren is back because he's been putting on this emotional facade. Well, some of it's real, some of it's also a show for all these chapters, all this time. And he's actually an emotional guy inside. He loves me because he has deep feelings towards her. And he has deep feelings towards his friends as well. So when he actually says, I want her to be with me, or when he says anything he says with emotion, that's actually him speaking from his heart with no filter. Again, notice this. Eren knows he's going to die. This is his last conversation with Armin. So he's not going to play any games. He's not going to put on any mask. He's not going to dance around. He's not going to beat around the bush. He's going to tell Armin exactly what he wants to tell him. Again, he did lie to him about Mikasa, but that was just to protect him. But he's not going to act like he's not unemotional, because he is emotional, and he couldn't even keep that for long. He couldn't help but break down emotionally. But this Giga Chad of Eren is again spending his last conversation arguing with him about the rumbling. Ridiculous. And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna stand by my thing, and I'm gonna do what's best for parody, no matter what." And again, he never did this for parody. And again, this retroactively destroys everything because he talks about, again, I keep bringing this up on the railroads, and I want you guys to all live long, happy lives. So again, if ANR happened as intended, that would have meant that every single person died, thus making that conversation worthless. It's again, you guys are complaining about Chekhov's gun or talking about Historia's baby, but you guys are, or maybe that should be my next video. You guys are worrying about Chekhov's gun with Historia's baby, but at the same time, you want that entire awkward. Again, that was a very awkward conversation. It was awkward because it didn't make any sense because the Tech Titan had to go somewhere. And again, Armin, the guy he's talking to, was going to die soon. So the conversation made no sense and needed further explanation. We got the first explanation in 139, but you would have made it so he's doing what's best for parody. I'm gonna just sacrifice everything no matter what. Ridiculous. You have no right to complain about Chekhov's gun. None. And speaking of the stories, baby, I don't want to spoil the my video too much, but he didn't want to send Historia into hell. How would he have done that without if his friends died? We would have continued along, eating each other after 13 years. Now would have completely destroyed his entire goals, and that would actually retcon his character. That would have actually assassinated his character. And while we're on the subject of ANR, of me completely destroying ANR, him being the father of Historia's baby makes I'm gonna say that for my Historia video. But you again, ANR is a pile. Again, I went to this air show one time, and there's a lot of people there. lots of people from where I live. Again, I live in New England, and if you guys know anything about New England, you know that there's only one major city there, and that's Boston. Everything else is cow country. Um, but my state has less than a million people in it, or around a million people in it. I went to this air show one time with the Blue Angels. Great. I shout out to Blue Angels, by the way. Great squad. Great squad. They were doing all their impressive flips and tricks, whenever. And we had to go to the restroom, and they have these porta potties. And there's thousands of thousands. If you've ever been to these air shows, you know there's a bunch of people that show up. There's thousands and thousands of people there. People from out of state. That's probably how it got so big. And I went to this porta potty, and it was the most disgusting thing you have ever seen in your life. It was just waste on top of waste on top of waste on top of waste on top of waste. It was the most gross, disgusting thing. It was just waste going down. It was infinite waste. It was the smell was so awful. It was just all these people's stuff going into this one small area, and that is not even a quarter of how disgusting A&R is. A&R is worse than that place. It's worse than any porta potty that's ever been in existence. It's disgusting, and its fumes come up to every reader with a scent of intelligence. But anyway, now that that has been taken care of, now that I'm done with the mass murderer line, which I hope you guys all understand now, where Armin was coming from, where everyone was coming from, how that line was a good line, how it fit into the overall story, how it was consistent with Eren and Armin's character, way back to even again episode one, because the first ending, beautiful, cruel world, how it was played in episode one. So I hope you guys understand how from episode one everything was the same and how it all fits together. But actually, not even episode one. There's also again, what inspired him to get the Titan back? His when he had that half transformation, what inspired him? What, his freedom, his personal freedom? The half Titan trust. What inspired him? Love for Mikasa and Armin. So this again, his friends living long happy lives is integral to his character, and he's not even manipulated by Ymir. So again, this all goes back to first episodes. This one line, it's consistent with everything. So now I get done with that. Now that I've put my 2 cents in about A&R, which I will continue to repeatedly diss and destroy until that disgusting site has been taken down. But anyway, we're going to talk about the real boogeyman, the biggest boogeyman of Attack on Titan, and it's the only thing that I got spoiled of. One of the few things I got spoiled of when I was trying to avoid spoilers from 1 through 9. And this is you guys have all seen it. Simp Eren on his ass, crying in the water, talking about how he wishes Mikasa would stay on him for the next 10 years, and blah 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 blah. I'm going to unequivocally explain to you why that line was so good and fit in so well, and how it was not even a quarter of what you guys are saying it is. It's disgraceful how you guys are making this story out to be. It's disgraceful. Again, there's a lot of things you can say about Attack on Titan. Say it has bad art. Say it was rushed. It's too brutal. It's too violent. Not family friendly. You say it has good music, so you waste all your time watching the songs over and over again. What you cannot say is that this line is bad. If you've personal beef with Isayama because he outsold your manga, do actual good arguments. But anyway, so Simp Eren. This is a line that again, Eren's an emotional guy. He loves Mikasa, and he knows he's about to die. He's loved Mikasa since the beginning. Well, he's had affectionate feelings towards her since the beginning, and he had to distance himself from Mikasa since the beginning. He had to tell her that he hated her and all this other cruel, hurtful stuff. But he loved her. He never knew that she loved him. When you love someone, you're crazy about that person. So Armin asked him, again, he's been putting himself through pain and suffering in this facade for 4 years. And he's having, as one guy very cutely put it, a broke talk with Armin. He's having a broke talk with Armin. Emotional, a real conversation where he's taking off the mask and he's saying, this is what I'm actually doing. And he's talking to Armin. And he tries his best to keep it in. When he's like, yeah, I mean, I'm sure she'll find another guy. In pain. He's in pain when he says that. But I actually can't put anything in this chat. But I actually have a meme that actually encapsulates this very well. You know the guy who's like in rage and crying behind the like the happy mask. You know what I'm talking about? That meme. That meme is essentially Eren. Whenever he's talking in season 4, think of that meme. That's Eren talking. And that is Eren's entire, his last 4 years. Is that meme. And even when he's having this deep, down to earth bro talk with Armin about things, he's like, yeah, I mean, I guess Mikasa will find another man, and completely and totally in pain, knowing he will never see her again, ever. And again, his last, well, he did have a conversation with her in the woods, but really his last real world conversation was not overshadowed by pain and suffering. Must have been a long, long time ago. But anyway, again, this guy's. People keep saying, "Oh, he's 19 years. I'll give him a break." I don't even say that argument because it makes it sound like that he is. I mean, I guess he shouldn't have said that if you're being completely, just uh logical. But I mean, any guy would have said that. And yeah, again, he's also 19 as well. That should be noted as well. But and so he can't hold it anymore. He just can't. He's questioned further and can't hold it anymore. He's like, no, I want her to love me and only love me. And even when I die, I want her to be with me for 10 more years. And right after that, he says, forget, I do not tell me that. Forget I said that. I do not mean that. Because of course I didn't mean it. Now, I used to have this analogy. For those of you who've seen the Mark Wahlberg film Instant Family. And these guys are going through some trouble. Less trouble than Eren. Less trouble than Eren, but they're going through some trouble. And they're in the bedroom, and they're like, we're gonna get rid of those kids. We're gonna be. They're talking very cruel and ruthless about these kids. Like, oh, we're gonna get rid of them. We're gonna pack them away. I don't care about how bad their life. We're gonna send them off. My hands are washed. We're completely good. We're better than most people because we tried. And then like, no, we're not gonna do that. No, we're gonna continue with these kids. We didn't mean any of that. And I was gonna use that analogy to explain to you guys how it worked. But seeing as how that is a different situation, and seeing as how that's in another movie, it's actually a bad analogy. Well, not a bad one, but it is it's not a perfect analogy. I actually have the perfect analogy, which I'll tell you after I talk about 138, the chapter prior. And it's a great analogy. It's going to be so good. You guys are going to get it so well. But anyway, so in 138, keep that Mark Wahlberg scene in mind. If you know what I'm talking about, keep that scene in mind. If you know what I'm talking about, I'm going to get to an analogy that you will be able to relate to. And I'm going back 138. Now, it's hard to tell what his last words were because he's in the past the entire time. But from Mikasa's vantage point, his last lines to her are 2 lines. Again, very consequential line when they're in the past in Sinners, where he says, I have the power to take away the world's freedom, you have the power to preserve the world's freedom. The last thing he says in that speech is, you are free. Let me say it again. Mr. Keep moving forward, Mr. Freedom, Mr. If anyone takes away my freedom, I'll take away their freedom. The last thing he says is not, I am free, like he said at the table. He says, you are free. So that's one of his last words. Now in the past, he says, throw away that scarf. Throw it away. Put it in the trash. Forget about me. Be free. That's what he says to her. Now, of course, when we were out reading this, we're like, "What the hell? Throwing the scarf? That's a little overboard." But you have to remember, when people have a sin, they usually try to go overboard to try to make sure they do not fall into that sin. So, for example, I was talking to this girl, and she had an alcohol problem, a bad alcohol problem. And she was like, I'm trying to be strong. I'm trying not to touch any alcohol. Someone offers me alcohol, I'm not going to take it. Right? That's not good. I'm not going to do that. Now, of course, drinking alcohol is fine. That's perfectly fine to enjoy a drink. If someone offers you alcohol on the street, hey, that's a win. You got free alcohol. It's not bad, but she's taking so much precaution. Again, you see this all the time. You see this all the time with examples. But I'm just using a real life example. She takes a sip of alcohol. She considers that a loss. She considers that bad. When of course it's not bad, but she's going overboard to make sure that she has an alcohol problem. So she wants to make sure that her vice does not clouding her judgment. She's making sure she abstains from alcohol totally. And Eren is like, okay, I have this selfish inclination. I'm going to completely squash this by saying, you know what, go full ruthless. Throw away that damn thing and forget I even existed. Be free. Those were his last words to her. Be free. Forget me. Be free. Okay? Now, that analogy I promised you. You guys remember that scene where Eren comes, and then it's not Eren. Barathil comes and he kicks the wall. The wall. The rocks are flying everywhere. People are being killed. And Eren's like, Mom's at home. Let me go check and see if my house and my mom are okay. He's like, oh, it's gonna be there. It's gonna be there. It's always there. Every time I turn this corner, it's there. She's gonna be fine. He sees his mom under the rubble, and he's like, well, I gotta get her out of this. She's a giant locker. Let me help her get it out. Armin goes to get Hannes. It's like, Hannes, the mom, our mom is here. Eren's mom is trapped. She's under the rubble of our house. In. He comes over. She's like, get the kids and get out of here. Get out of here. Leave. I'm dead anyway. My legs are crushed. I can't run with you guys. Get out of here. Save the kids. And he's like, yep. He goes. He goes. He takes the kid and he leaves. And Eren is screaming. And his mom's last words. You guys remember Eren's mom's last words? Don't go. Interesting. Why did she say don't go? This is an incredibly selfish thing. She wanted them to turn around, jump off of Hannes, and then knowingly die trying to save her. That was her selfish inclination. That was her sinful nature acting up. She had a self-preservation instinct, and those were her last words. Funny enough, those were not Eren's last words. This is exactly what Eren's doing. Eren's doing with selfishness too. Only he didn't die saying "don't go" and retconning everything he said prior. He died saying "be free." He died going overboard. He said the equivalent of take your sword, Hans, and kill me right now. Just kill me right now, and then leave. I don't even want to have the thought of even escaping this. Kill me right now and then leave. Don't even remember me, for goodness sakes. But those were Carla's last words. And again, no one bats an eye, but no one thinks that that's a problem. She said that because of course it's not a problem. It's an emotional time, and she's about to die. He says, "Throw away that scarf. Forget about me. Be free." Again, he's been putting on this facade and mask. It's good that for all these people who like this giga chat, keep moving forward, Eren. It's not the real Eren. He's an emotional guy. He loves his friends, and he would do anything to protect them, as said in the song. But again, yeah. So that is why Simp Eren is incredible, and that's also why he didn't retcon his character. You guys are angry that he did this. Another analogy I'll use. Not that these two are comparable. Like these are not close at all. But there is some parallels. Now, what's the coolest thing Jesus is going to do or did do? Well, what's like the most badass things ever done? Is it going to be defeating the devil? Right? Is it going to be crushing all the unbelievers or the bad guys, the pagans? Is that going to be the coolest thing? Yeah, those are cool. Those are kind of cool, right? Sending all the pedophiles and whatnot to hell and crushing the devil, the source of all of our problems in the world. Is that cool? Yeah, that's definitely Chad Jesus. That's totally dope. But you know the Jesus's chattiest moment, his best moment, the moment that deserves the most honor and respect, was when he died on the cross in a rather pathetic state, just like Eren. Again, I'm not saying that Jesus is Eren or that their sacrifices are comparable. I'm just saying there's some parallels. That's his chattiest moment. That's the moment that deserves the most admiration. So this keep moving forward, Chad nonsense is much less honorable and much less commendable than his sacrifice. It is. Again, the only thing more chatty, if that's the right adjective, than a father punching a robber who's trying to get it to his kid is a father taking a bullet from the robber to let his kid escape. That guy's more of a chem, the guy who just goes full jujitsu and beats the robber up and whatever. That's really cool. But it's cooler for the dad to take a bullet and die for his son to escape. That's actually even cooler. That's more, that deserves more praise. That enhances his character. He's more of a Chad for doing that, right? And for you shallow pieces of garbage who prefer the keep moving forward, my enemies are destroyed and freedom for parody, Chad Eren, and this nonsense and him, with the story. For those of you who deserve that, you want that, you guys are shallow people. Again, anime. I know it's a giant stereotype that anime people are incels. You guys must be incels because from what I'm getting from you people and what I'm reading from ANR, you guys are like the most shallow, loveless people. I'm surprised that, I know everyone has parents, but you must not have gotten a good relationship with your parents because you obviously do not know what love is. You obviously have no girlfriend. You obviously have no good relationships. Your friends is Crunchyroll and your dad is Funimation. You guys have no content or personal relationship or nuance whatsoever. You guys are total incels. Again, I'm saying this because, again, I'm a small channel. I have nothing to lose. This is not my full-time job. I have other things that I'm doing. So I have no problem saying that at all. You guys are incels. You guys are shallow. You're unnuanced. And your work ANR sucks. Yeah, I'll say it for everyone. I'll say it for everyone thinking it. Yeah, just put it on me. I'll say it all. This is what everyone else thinks about you, by the way. Anyway, that is the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you, if you didn't enjoy it, if you have some mean things to say, the comment section is right there. Go below and type whatever nasty crap you want to. I know you have a lot of time, so you don't have any obligations to your girlfriend because you have no girlfriend. But yes, if you have video suggestions, if you want to leave a negative comment, if you want to leave a positive comment, that's cool. But if you want to leave a negative comment, you are more than welcome to. I hope you understood why I'm saying what I'm saying. I hope you understood why the mass murder line was good and why the simp line, the Simp Eren was good. If you're unclear about it, leave a comment. If you want a video suggestion, leave a comment. Again, this has been Beluga the Jaegerist, and have a good day. Or if you're in have a bad day. Anyway, stream's over.